Hello and welcome to another Overlord lore video, and as usual thanks to my Patreons for supporting this channel, and today we will take a look at Ainz Ooal Gowns Spells. Now this will in all likelihood be quite the extensive series, since I plan to go over each spell, its effects and potential other usages. For example, Ainz Fly spell, in addition to facilitate air travel, was also used by the Overlord during the battle against Shaltir, where it allowed Ainz Ooal Gown to reduce the effects of various impacts by slowing him down and preventing him from spinning around wildly, and therefore stabilizing himself was much easier for him. But I'm already getting quite ahead of myself, and before we begin to deal with each spell properly, a word or two about Ainz Ooal Gown's character build. The Overlord wasn't min-maxed, and more of a role-playing build, but even so, one of his build strength lies in the, at least in the New World, potential endless acquisition of spells, because during Momonga's Yggdrasil days alone he managed to raise his spell collection from the standard 300 to 718 different spells, thanks to Dark Wisdom, one of his special abilities. Not included in this number are all of the different ways to twin, triple, maximize, or otherwise tamper with the already tremendous amount of spells. As far as I know, it is still unclear if Ainz Ooal Gown could use this ability to acquire excessive amounts of super tier magic, and if so, if super tier spells are still restricted by every 10th spell in total, which would be 71.8 in Ainz's case, or if the Overlord can just learn 1000 new super tier magic spells while his normal amount of spells remains the same. After all, super tier magic was only available if you reached the level 70, and then you could only select one super tier magic spell. So what I am essentially saying is that, as of yet, it is unclear whether or not Ainz Ooal Gown is restricted by his level cap in this regard or not. Because in the New World, thanks to Wish Upon a Star, his number of potential spells might be approaching infinity. Given Momonga's insight in how his ring works during the first encounter with Shaltir in the third novel, should allow him to take over new spells and learn additional ones without the need to level up or use his ritual. And while we are at Momonga's character build, his single biggest strength is his enormous overmaxed mana pool, which can be enhanced further in effectiveness via the effects of his equipment, buffs, and if the need arises, the staff of Ainz Ooal Gown itself. And with such a large mana pool, Ainz can always come up with strategies around his various spells to counter enemy strategies, or to just deal with the environment. And after this brief introduction, I believe we should start things off with a spell Naberal Gamma is very familiar with, Bunny Ears. This spell allows Momonga to add fluffy features to his head that will enhance his general perception and hearing ability. Sadly, at least for the moment, Ainz Ooal Gown doesn't show any sign of being able to use other bunny spells, so we won't see him in the bunny outfit. At least in the official artwork. Bone Boy beauty aside though, the next spell in line is almost vital for the Great Tomb of Nezeric's continued existence. Its Message. This spell of the second tier allows the user to instantly contact other entities via transmitted acoustic communication. It's essentially a magical phone call, and it played a vital role in alerting Ainz about Shaltir's betrayal in the communication with Sebas during the first part of the first novel, where he explored the outside for the first time, and during his supposed betrayal during the Man of the Kingdom arc, where Solution contacted Ainz via message, and of course during the downfall of an entire magic nation in the past, which is due to one of the greatest risks of message. While the message spell allows for telepathic contact with any person you wish, there are as of yet no known 100% tamper-proof ways to verify who are you currently talking to, which again greatly contributed to the end of an entire nation. Just because message spells were intercepted, rerouted, and tampered with. For example, the caller or the other person at the end could have been mind-controlled, or maybe somebody was just using the message spell on an unsuspecting target while impersonating another caller. But before I go over potential countermeasures against this, I want to highlight another aspect of the spell, and it is not some of its effects, but the lack of such a thing. In our modern world, each and every word, each and every post in the World Wide Web will be there forever. The only thing you created that will survive your death will in all likelihood not be your memory, your deeds, or your possession, but that one time where you accidentally shared your entire browser history with all of your co-workers. Thanks, answer all button. But this is not the case in Overlord's new world. The moment the message spell ends, everything said is lost. No data collection through Windows, no NSA surveillance, and no mention of the same thing in two slightly different versions. If the spell ends, every bit of conversation will have been completely erased, with no backup copy available. This, in combination with the general absence of the internet and its vast catalogue of person-related knowledge, also means that code phrases and very specific questions about other persons are once again an actual way to verify to whom one is speaking. For example, after connecting with Fluda Paradane, Ainz Ooal Gown stated where the wizard was born and how he came to be so obsessed with magic, which is not only convenient exposition, but also highly unlikely to be known by anyone else but Fluda Paradane, a guy who is over 200 years old at this point in time. To impersonate him, a grand wizard, which has recently come into the service of Ainz Ooal Gown, would be extremely difficult, since no videos about his behavior exist, no LinkedIn or Facebook profile can be scoured for information, and every bit of info that is actually made available to the general public will be heavily edited and manipulated to paint a certain picture. It would be highly unlikely for the Empire to present Fluda Paradane as anything other than the dignified old wizard he pretends to be, and any account of Fluda gushing over some potential new spell or information about magic, like a touch-stuffed basement dweller about a free hug sign, wouldn't make it to paper, much less out to the public, and even then, it would just be an incredible obscure rumor, and nothing more. Additionally, Ainz, after over a decade of Yggdrasil, knows how important information is, and even more important how to keep it safe and protected. For example, before ending the Sunlight Scripture by imprisoning any survivors, the slain theocracy tried to check on them, since they carried a summoning crystal with the highest level of angel in it, only to be hit by one of Ainz's many anti-intelligence spells. So while the communication could be intercepted, and other persons could be impersonated, it is ultimately a surprisingly secure way for information exchange of any kind. Though top secrets are still best shared in person, since the Great Tomb of Nezarec with all of its world items inside should probably have unbreachable anti-intelligence defenses, but for daily conversations or the transfer of low or medium important information, and of course for emergency calls, it is really great. Next in line is one of my favorite spells, Reality Slash. Sounds like a fanfiction, but it is actually a lesser version of World Break, and therefore essentially a piece of Touch Me strength, for he was able to rip apart the fabric of the universe to an even greater degree with his attack than the spell does. But it is nonetheless one of Ainz Ooal Gown's most lethal spells, that is outside of super tier magic, but it also comes with quite the mana demand, even for Ainz and his extra long bar. The ability to literally slice the totality of existence in half is extremely destructive, for it not only severs blood vessels, cuts open the skin, and smashes the bones, it attacks the enemy on an even more basic level than to just destroy their atoms. It's probably a quantum mechanical effect applied to the space between one half of your body and the other. Even Shaltir Bloodfallen was forced to reverse time and heal herself because of this destructive spell, and the ability to separate matter on this level could hold uncountable advantages if members of the Great Tomb of Nezarec or the Sorcerer Kingdom could somehow manage to create lesser or similar versions of this spell, like the Magic Guild in the Kingdom did, which after all is possible in the New World. Then the overall economics, the research output, and quality of life in the Sorcerer Kingdom and the Great Tomb of Nezarec could rise drastically. After all, it's literally the ability to manipulate space-time itself, and even a highly specialized spell that can recreate just a fraction of Reality Slash with a fraction of its power could, for example, lead to incredible sharp and precise knives. And while operations are seen as a barbaric thing practiced by the Minotaur Sage, Demiurge should be way less biased. And that's it for today. 3 spells done. 715 to go. And with that said, thank you very much for watching. And as usual, special thanks to Al Capone, Andy, Angel of Death, Bad Guy Yee, Boyzilla, Chrissy, Diabetic Centaur, Dystopia, Faily Skaters, Gigafight, Ghost of Epicness, Hector Moreno, Hoss, Jason, Kleinator, Chromius, Large, Lord Touch Me, Lord Ulbert Elaine Odell, Mad C, Marcos, Mr. Shoes, Mindless Wrath, Menno 13, Mirtis, Primus 11, Sasuga Einsama, Sebastian, Surge, Sparkly Unicorn, and Vershorkai. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, stay safe, over and out.